No more waiting, anticipating, or hesitating. Now is the time. I stood on the sidelines, watching long enough. While others took their place and stepped inside. Tired of all the waiting, ready to begin.
Welcome to the Orgena Rose Show.
Hello, everyone, and welcome. And I really want to extend a special welcome out for my next guest, who is here to tell his amazing story of how he is truly a walking miracle. So, Howard, I would love to welcome you to the show and just want to talk a little bit about your story. It's really amazing what has happened with you. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, I can, but first off, thanks for inviting me here today, and it's a great privilege to talk to you. I'm basically, if you think about it, I'm a walking miracle, and it's also been described as a walking cigarette, and we'll elaborate a little bit about that in just a few seconds, but it was on a Friday morning. It was like November 5th, 2010, and I love, first off, I gotta say, I love to ride motorcycles, and I remember riding motorcycles since I was like 16 years old.
Wow.
So on that particular day, November 5th, 2010, I was riding up the 91 freeway like I normally do, going into work. And I kind of know where I'm at all the time when I'm riding my motorcycle. And I know where I'm at, and I know it was a nice sunny day, and it was around 8:25 in the morning. Everything kind of changed. My world changed upside down in a dramatic way. First off, we're driving down the freeway, and I'm heading toward Angel Stadium. And as I'm driving down there, I'm cruising along. Nice sunny day, as I said, and it's beautiful. And I'm in the fast lane, and I'm looking down, and I see it's 8:25, and I'm like, okay, I'm ahead of schedule because I know where I'm supposed to be at a certain time. And there was and back then, 2010, Friday light meant Friday light, not like Friday light now, where it's never Friday light. So it was good cruising speed and stuff, and I happened to notice a car about 2 or 3 car lengths up in front of me, but in the next lane over, which I was in the fast lane, they were in the next lane over, so they would have been in the third lane over. And all of a sudden, she puts her turn signal on and just kind of veers off into my lane, and I think she happened to glance back around at the same time, and she, I don't know what she was doing or thinking, but her wheel just flipped the other way. She just kind of go back into her own lane. And it was just like what you see in the movies where the car started to fishtail. And so she overcorrected the first time. And then she overcorrected again, right into me. And I hit the ground doing 65 miles an hour. And it happened so fast. And I am honestly glad that it happened in a way that it did, because I'm still alive. I took all the precautions that I needed to on my end. Hit the ground doing 65. I rolled about, they estimated over 2 football fields.
So you literally hit the ground, your body hitting the ground at 65 miles an hour, and you rolled 2 football fields worth?
Yeah, that's what they estimated, about 2 football fields.
And what happened to you? What kind of injuries did you sustain?
Well, other than the bruising that you normally get, and the road rash, and the scrapes and all that, the only thing that broke was on my right hand, the index finger. That was the only thing that happened.
That is truly, absolutely amazing, Howard. Oh my goodness.
It is, and here's the funny thing about it. I mean, I can now say it's a funny thing, but it's something that I've pondered for a long time. Why? Why was I spared? Because I'm sure you've heard of it, and I'm sure everybody else has heard of it. Motorcycle accidents that happen with less speed, less brutality,
Yes.
And yet they're no longer with us.
Exactly. So your question that you ask is, why you? Why are you still here?
Why was I spared? Well, obviously, going back to that day, I hit the ground doing 65, and it was around 8:30, and what seemed like only 5 minutes, and it may have been 10, 15, 20 minutes,
Right.
ambulance, cops, everybody was there. And when I first initially hit the ground, I tried to get up, and there was somebody that was in the fast track that pulled off on the side of the road, and he put his hand on my back and said, "Don't move, I'm an EMT." And out of all out of everything, how could an EMT show up? He put his hand on my back and said, "Don't move, you could have injuries." And I stayed awake the whole entire time. I saw, and like they say, your life flashes before your eyes. I seen everything as a kid to present day, and I moved so slow in my mind. But my emotions, real life, we were cruising. I mean,
Wow.
It was bad. So I finally get into the ambulance. You know, I call my office, "Hey, I'm not coming in today, this is what happened." They end up taking me to the hospital. I finally get a hold of my wife. She ends up coming to the hospital. And, you know, we go through all the treatments. I spent the whole day, matter of fact, I spent the night there at the hospital. They did everything that they could do to verify I'm okay. And the next day, I went home, and I just kind of looked at myself in the mirror. I was all bandaged up, scraped up. I could barely move. As my wife was driving home, every bump that she hit, and she wasn't doing it intentionally, I felt it. And obviously, even though I'm on pain medication, you feel that.
Yeah.
So a couple days later, you know, I'm obviously not working, I'm on medication, and I kind of drift off to sleep. But I kept pondering in my head, why was I spared when I hear about motorcycle accidents with less speed, like I said earlier, they're no longer with us.
So Howard, I want to really go into exactly what happened after that dream, after you asked that very question, when we come back.
Tired of giving the same old gifts of flowers, chocolates, perfume, or cologne? Finding it hard to come up with that perfect and special gift? Want to put your love into words? How about putting it to music? Capture the magic of your love in your very own love song. Imagine your unique love story told in an intensely powerful and emotional way through the magic of music. Give a gift that is truly one of a kind and absolutely priceless. Get your custom signature song at customsignaturesongs.com or by calling 323-238-4653. That's 323-238-4653.
Rest in my love.
And we're back with Howard Drescher telling us about his story with a motorcycle accident and a distracted driver. So Howard, you left us with having really survived an amazing experience, the fact that you were indeed spared, and asking that question, why was I spared? What happened then?
Well, like I said, I asked a question, and this is probably about 4 or 5 days into it. After the accident, my wife went back to work. Obviously, she had to help me move everywhere.
Sure.
She had to help me change my clothes. She had to help me do this. She changed the bandages. So she went to work. She put me downstairs on the sofa. You know, easier to watch TV, just take my meds. Everything was right there located. So I took my medicine, and I asked myself, why was I spared? You know, and I prayed to God, God, give me an answer, because I really need an answer. Is there some reason? I took my medicine, I dozed off. 2-3 hours later, I woke up. And as I woke up, it just kind of dawned on me why I should do what I should do, you know, because I asked, why was I spared? And, you know, God works in mysterious ways. We all know that. You may not get the answer you want, or you may get the answer you want, but are you going to act on it? And so I kind of knew what happened. It just dawned on me. It's like a light bulb went on, and it was like, boom. So I realized I can create a reality TV show.
Mm.
And so I created the show, and it took me probably a month to write it, to put it together. Again, putting it together, I kind of worked on it a little bit here, a little bit there, but I didn't tell anybody about it. I didn't even tell my wife about it because I wanted to know clearly, is this what I was meant? And every day I would always ask the same question. God, is this what you wanted? Just give me an answer. And it kind of came to me, yeah, finish it up. So I finished it up, and I called it Distracted Drivers Busted. So, I mean, it makes sense. The title, I came up with 2 or 3 different titles, but I ended up with that one.
And why the busted? What was the busted piece for you?
Well, because in California, as you know, when Arnold Schwarzenegger, our governor at the time, passed the law about distracted drivers, I think it was a ridiculous thing, $25 fine for the first time. $25. What does that $25 cover? Where does it go? What does it do? I don't think it does anything, to tell you the truth. And I don't think, I know of no one, maybe you do. Does anybody even got a ticket? And where does that $25 go? I don't know. Slush fund, maybe. But it dawned on me, and I came up with busted because then I wanted to let people know what the outcome could be. What is the ultimate end goal? And maybe the end goal is not the right word, but the final thing that could happen if you become a distracted driver and you get trapped and you hit somebody or you kill somebody.
So like an end result, this is what could happen if you're distracted and you end up hitting someone.
Right. So if you go ahead and you're busted before that, then there should be some kind of consequences, or there should be something that indicates, hey, I know I did wrong, it shouldn't happen. So I figure if we can bust you before, if we can bust you before you end up hurting somebody, the next time you reach down for the text message or you reach down to pick up your hamburger in a car or whatever, you're going to think twice, oh, there might be somebody out there that is looking at me and I might be busted.
Got it. So it's not necessarily to just be this punitive thing. It's really to help people to be more aware and mindful and sensitive.
Yes, exactly. It's to bring attention to what I'm doing. It's as minor as the law is on it and the penalty. There's worse that could come from it. That the $25 is nothing.
Right.
Okay, you can lose a life. You can injure some, if not yourself.
Yeah.
And you think about it. You know, I mean, you're looking at a young girl, a young son, a mother, a father, yourself driving. It can happen, and it can happen within seconds.
Yeah.
And when it happens, there's no turning back. There is no turning back, and there's no, I'm sorry, I did this. Because it doesn't, there's no sorry that can correct the damage that you could do if you kill somebody.
Yeah, that's always the hard part. You know, there's, of course, one can feel sorrow and regret for having done something and perhaps caused a major change in someone's life or even taken someone's life. But what I'm hearing you say is that sorry can't bring them back, can't undo what's been done. And so wouldn't it be better to make a change beforehand?
Exactly. If by, you know, working on a show that we are and doing what we have to do, if we can change one person from reaching down to grab that might be the person that we save that day. Or we save somebody else's family the grief of what could happen.
Yes.
And that's the ultimate goal.
That is beautiful. And so Howard, so you got this idea, create a show, and what then?
Well, you know, quite honestly, I eventually, first off, I told my wife about it. And she looked at it and she kind of read it and everything. She liked some of the ideas in it. She said, what about this, what about this? So I said, okay, I made the changes that she suggested, but I kept it. And here's the sad thing about it. is I kept it for approximately maybe 3-4 years.
Wow, so you just had the idea and just held on to it.
Yeah, once I finally finalized it and I took care of whatever I need to do on the legal end on my side of the house, I put it away.
Mm.
And now don't get me wrong, I did try to contact several different people, but if you don't know anybody, you can't get something started unless, you know, the sky falls the right way for you, and obviously. So eventually I kept trying to contact people and I kept trying to do things and trying to reach out to people, but I kept knocking, but nobody was answering the door. And it just so happened, I do work at a radio station, as you know, and for the listeners, I work at a radio station, and I happened to meet a young lady, okay? Of course, the young lady is you, Orgena, and I met you by chance. I was recording a show, a tape show that you were featured on, and when I first saw you, I said, you look familiar to me, and so you kind of described what you do, and I'm like, no, I'm thinking somebody different, and it's like, it was nagging at me. And so we talked a little bit about, you know, what you do and the television stuff that you do and different things, and I told you, you know what, I wrote a show that that affects many people. And so you were kind enough to reach out and give me your business card. But I didn't act on it right away.
And we're going to find out why and what happened when he finally did when we come right back. What truly sets you apart from your competition? Do you know the answer? Most business owners don't, and the truth is, it's what can make or break your business. Every business wants it, but few know how to get it, and that is instant recognition. The kind you get when you hear a slogan, some piece of music, or even see a logo that brings a specific brand to mind. Many businesses and organizations spend a great deal of time and energy on the visual and forget the audio. Just like you would never send out a print piece without your logo on it, we recommend all your audio should be branded with an audio logo. Nobody does it like Severly. Not only are they great for instant recognition, but they have a long shelf life. Some jingles last decades and even lifetimes, never losing their effectiveness. And we are back with Howard Drescher, who is telling us the story about his accident with a distracted driver and the new project that we are working on together. So Howard, you connected with me and we connected, period.
We connected at the studio where you were doing the tape show.
Yes.
And you gave me your business card, before we went to break, I was telling you. But I didn't contact you right away. I think it was about a month and a half, maybe 2 months.
Yeah, it was more like 2 or 3 months, actually.
But I did reach out, but I will tell you this, and this is in all honesty. I believe that things happen for a reason at a certain time.
Yes.
And every day, believe it or not, I looked at your card and I was ready to pick up the phone. But obviously, really intimidated by, okay, what could this lead to, or will it lead to anything, or is it just, whatever, hey, yeah. So I finally reached out, and I think I emailed your assistant, Arlene, and I mentioned my name, and eventually I just said, hey, I know Orgena, she came here to the studio with me, and she gave me her card to reach out. And but okay, 3 months later, I reached out to you, and I did get a connection with you. And we set a date to come up and see you. I think it was about a week later. And I drove up here, and I sat down to talk to you. And I think we were only supposed to spend about an hour together. We spent over 2.5, close to 3 hours. And honestly, I think you were more in shock that I was still walking around than when I told you everything that I went through to get in order to reach you. And from that moment on, you and I have been working on this project for probably about 1.5 years, wholeheartedly. And that's kind of where we stand. And, you know, again, we talked about it. It's not what I want to do to penalize people.
Right.
I want to reach out to people and let them know the dangers of text driving. You know, texting while you're driving, just being distracted in any way.
Because it's not just texting, right? There's so many ways to be distracted behind the wheel.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you're reaching down to change the radio. You're picking up the Coke or the coffee that you're drinking. You're picking up the burger. And I'm going to tell you, in all honesty, years and years ago, before I even got in an accident, I used to do the same thing. And you never really think about, you know, you feel invincible. And nowadays, people are smarter. The technology's there at their hands, and they just text and drive. And I see people on the 91 freeway every day.
Yeah.
They're like this.
Yeah.
And I'm like looking at them, going, it's so scary. And even more, like even, you know, and as of today, I no longer ride a motorcycle. My love. You know, I love to get on a bike and ride. I would clear my head while I'm riding.
Yeah.
I no longer do that. And when I see motorcyclists pass me now, I kind of cringe and I slow down and I just pull off a little bit to the right, or I move over to the left if they're on that side of me.
Right.
And I give them all the clearance they need. And every time they pass me, I just say, ride safe, buddy. Just ride safe.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm doing.
And it's such a shame that this wonderful thing that you used to love to do, you don't feel safe and comfortable to do anymore, because you can still see all of the distracted drivers that are going on the road.
Yeah, and you see it more and more. I mean, once you've been involved in an accident like this, you see it. It's like, it's weird to say, but like, say if you buy a new car, you've never seen that car on the road, but once you get it, then they got it.
They're all over the place, right?
How did they get it? They got a better car.
Right.
It's a better color car. I should have got that one. But distracted drivers, you see them, and it's like little things pop up. Boom, boom. Oh, stay away. I had to alter my driving.
Yeah.
Everything.
And I too, just as you just admitted, you know, so many of us, this is what we do. It's almost become a norm in some way. People think that, this is something to just become more accustomed to. And you'll see the swerving, you'll see people not quite staying in the lanes and not quite paying attention. And I see it, and I too was one of those folks, and it's something that I share in the episode, in our pilot. My own experience, you know, I was one of those, yes, with the lipstick or the makeup, and had been doing it for so many years. I thought, I can do this, I can handle this, I'm a pro at it. And it's not so, you know, and I'm grateful that thankfully I never had or caused an accident, but it doesn't mean it couldn't happen at any moment. And so it has been a wonderful experience for me to be a part of this project, because it's changed my own behavior. It's changed my own way of driving behind the wheel. And everyone that I know, you know, now none of us are in a car holding a phone or doing any of those things that could really be distracting. So you, with your vision for this project, you're already changing lives.
Well, I'm glad at least I'm changing some lives that are locally, and that people that know me, they know if they're texting me, I don't answer it.
Right.
And I don't answer my phone. If you call me, I don't answer my phone. It's very easy for me to answer my phone, because all I gotta do is press a button on my thing and start talking to you, and because it comes through the speaker. But yeah, I don't want to take that chance. You know, I've been down that road on the opposite end, and it's not a pretty sight.
Because you can still be distracted, even with this new technology, you can still be distracted.
Exactly, because then they're talking to you, and you're thinking about, you know, whatever they're talking about. You know, I need to process a paper first thing in the morning. They did this, done, or this.
Right.
Really? I mean, come on.
Right.
I mean, it's not worth. Is that paper that you're going to have to process and put it on your boss's desk? Is it
Worth a life.
worth a life?
Yeah.
And I say no.
Yeah.
And I don't think it should be.
So what are you hoping to accomplish, you know, really tangibly for people with this project?
Well, realistically, what I'd like to do is continue the show and get it out there. Not just here in California. I'm talking coast to coast. And bring bring the awareness to everybody. I mean, I'm talking, high school, colleges, businesses, where people do it, and I know it gets done. They do it. It's the way we are. It's our culture. But if we can bring awareness to the people that are doing it and going, hey, maybe it's not worth getting sued over because I just killed somebody because I was doing something. That's what I'm trying to. If we can stop, the texting or being distracted while you're driving, and we save a life, then we did good today. I'd like to say we made money that day.
And money in the sense of we've been able to save a life, something that is
Exactly.
really, really valued and cherished. And it's interesting, when this project, when you first came to me and you had these ideas and wonderful concepts, and then we really worked on developing it and taking it to another level and adding in, new media and transmedia and different pieces like that to really bring it to life. What it made me think of was, it used to be almost a hilarious point in movies that, you'd always watch the woman who was driving, and then, there would come a point where she's got to reach down, in the other seat and for her, lipstick or something, or anything. And inevitably, in that moment, there would be an accident. And I think because of movies doing that for so many years, we all got it, okay, don't reach down and get whatever that is over there, you're probably going to have an accident. Because in those 5 seconds, and this was an amazing statistic that I learned in doing this project, in those 5 seconds, you could drive the length of a football field.
Yes.
A football field. Now, no one in their right mind would think of driving a football field without looking, right?
Exactly, no.
You just wouldn't do it. But in essence, that's exactly what we're doing when we're texting, when we're distracted. Even for those 5 seconds, we're driving the length of a football field without looking. So the idea is now with this TV show, with this reality show, we can start to do the same thing that those movies did, is to help remind people, don't do it, it's not worth it. It's not worth your life, it's not worth another life either.
Exactly, and not only that, what I'd like to try to do on this is just how we bring attention to the awareness. Honestly, I never met the lady that was involved, that caused my accident. I never got an apology, and I never, seen her face to face or anything. But deep down, and I know to move forward, I had to forgive her. And I think once I forgave her, then everything kind of came clear to me what I needed to do. And it would be great to take, just like we did in our pilot, take somebody that was distracted, that was involved in an accident with somebody that wasn't. They're distracted and they were the victim.
Yeah.
Bring them together. And if we can just marry them together with they don't have to really apologize, but as long as they work it out where they understand, okay, I was wrong, and I did wrong to you, and I've learned from you.
I think that is the bottom line, that sure, we would love to say that everyone forgives the person, and not everyone is there. But maybe there can be a sense of closure for each party, and a sense of releasing the event and forgiveness for oneself, right? So if you're the victim, and like in your case, that you can at least forgive within yourself so that you can move on from the event and not hold that anger, because it really keeps you from being able to live your life fully and freely.
Yeah, and when you're angry, and you're angry at somebody, when you get in the car the next time, are you going to be angry at the person beside you? And it's not worth it, because then you become distracted yourself, and something could happen.
Exactly, great point there. And so that really is the message of the show of Distracted Drivers Busted, is to really bring those parties together, both sides, for forgiveness, for closure, for releasing the event, and being able to learn from it and do differently next time. So Howard, along with the show, what are you hoping to do? What else are you hoping to do with the show and through the show?
Well, deep down, I've always wanted to build a nonprofit organization for this show, for the cause. And if we can go out and help the victims, from however we get from, being in a nonprofit organization, and help the victims, that's where I'm looking at. Because the victims they're the ultimate ones that end up paying for it. Whether by loss of death, a loss of a limb, can't work, they're out for 6-7 months, they lose their house maybe because they can't afford their bills.
Loss of peace of mind.
Let's reach out and help these guys because they're victims too.
Absolutely. Excellent and well stated. And Howard, any final thoughts for our viewers today around this issue of distracted driving?
Well, the only thing I can really say to the viewers out there that are watching, it's not worth it. It's not worth picking up that phone or being distracted, getting that cheeseburger or something when you're driving down the freeway. It's not worth it. Don't do it.
So Howard, I would love to ask just one final question. If you could see that woman today, the woman who hit you on that day that really changed your life, what would you say?
First off, I would want to tell her I forgive her, and I want to give her a big hug.
Wow, a hug. Because?
Because there's no telling how bad she felt. And I don't even know if she knows what even happened to me. I don't know. I had no contact. So she might be like me, but in reverse, thinking about it every day. What happened to that guy? Is he alive? Is he dead? Is he what?
That's so amazing and that's so powerful, and it would be such a gift to her to know that not only are you okay, really miraculously, but that you forgive
Well,
her.
some people say I'm okay. I mean, but yeah, I'm in one piece.
Yeah.
I'm in one piece. I can still function. You know, I mean.
And you're back to work, life. You're back and functioning into life.
Yeah, yeah.
That took about how long?
To get over everything, probably about a year to get it where I won't be afraid as much. I'm still afraid when I still drive,
Sure.
but not as much as I used to be.
So that would be an amazing gift to her, and it's the kind of gift that victims could even give to those who have hit them through this show.
Exactly, exactly, and that's what I'm hoping that this can develop into. I mean, you have people maybe in New York that's been in accidents, and we take the show there and we talk to them, and they get hugs and stuff like that. You know, you can go to Florida, you can go to Wisconsin, you can go to wherever. It doesn't matter.
We actually even have someone who's written to us from Pennsylvania, and she literally crushed the entire side of her face because it hit a forklift. Like her car slammed into a truck and the forklift hit her face and crushed the one side. She's had over 27 surgeries on her face, and her life was completely turned upside down. She was a young woman, and she actually just recently got married and had a baby. So talk about a complete, an amazing turnaround. But same thing, she would love to be able to connect with the person who, she hit. She was the distracted driver. And she would love to connect with that person. So through this show, she would be able to do that.
Yeah, and I applaud her for that because it's something that in the back of her mind, she knows that she's probably got to do so that way she can feel better. Now I'm sure she understands,
Yeah, yeah. So we really would love to ask each and every one of you out there who may or may not have even been touched by a distracted driver, help us to continue this cause, to continue to bring the message and spread the word through Distracted Drivers Busted, the reality TV show. It's a docudrama to really share that each and every one of us is so precious and it's just not worth a life to be distracted and drive. I'm Orgena Rose, here with Howard Drescher. Thank you for watching. Hello everyone, and thank you so much for being with us today on our show. I really hope that there was something shared that really helps you shine your biggest and brightest light. Please stop by again, like us on Facebook, tweet us, all of those good things. And most importantly, please always remember, it's all about love.
No more waiting, anticipating, or hesitating.